Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to set up a Gmail webhook and then connect it to your Node.js API endpoint so that when your Gmail receives an email, that email is sent to your Node.js API in real time. So I'll start by creating the folder for my project. I'll just call it a Gmail webhook. Then I'll set up a Node.js project quick. So I'll open this with the Visual Studio Code Editor. Then instead of bootstrapping the project, I'll just bring in the package.json and the tsconfig for all the packages or modules that we shall need for this project. So I'll bring in the package.json first. Then I'll also bring in the tsconfig. So I'm doing this because it's easier to set up this. If you don't know how to do it, you can just use AI to generate this. Also, at the end of the video, I'm going to leave, push this code to GitHub and leave the link in the description of the video so that you'll be able to see the whole code. So the packages that we are going to use will be Google APIs, npm package. Then we shall also use ngrok because we want to use a public domain or a public static and also secure domain that is provided by ngrok. So I'll show you how to quickly set this up. I also have a detailed video on how to link your Node.js application to ngrok. So I'll also leave the link to that video in the description of this video. So now that we have our package.json, I'll just open my terminal. Let me expand my space so that I have enough working area. I'll also zoom so that it's more visible to you. So I'll just run npm run the install so that we have all the modules downloaded. Then if you look at my package.json, it means that in development mode, everything is going to be stored in the src, then it's going to be compiled into dist. So I'll go ahead and create the src. So within the src, we need the entry point of the application. So I'll just create app.ts. Then I'll be serving this using a service.ts if you look at my package.json. So I'm also using nodemon to watch the changes that I'll be making on the code so that whenever there are changes, it's going to reload the server. So I need this file also. I'll just create server.ts. Then within the app, we shall need Express. I have already installed Express, so I'll just paste that. Then I'll initialize the application by assigning Express to this variable. And then express.json. We can create a simple route here for the root route just to test if our application is working. So I'll just say do the app .get method or http request, and then this is going to be for the root route. Then I'll just pass a function here with the request and the response. Then I'm going to res.send and string here that says that app is working. And then after that, I'm going to serve this, so I have to export the app instance. So I'll just do a default export. Then inside the services, of course, I'm going to import the app. So import app from app like that. Then we shall be using the environment variables to store the credentials. So in that case, I need to import the .env. From .env, I have this, of course, installed in my packages. If you don't know how to do that, let me just open my browser and I'll show you that. So if I type for npm and search for .env, it should give us command to use to install it to the system. So if you're starting from scratch, you know that you're supposed to use this approach. So I have it imported here, and then I'm going to initialize that, which is going to be .env .config. So this way we shall be able to call the variables within the .env file. So I'll go ahead and create it here. And the first thing is the port. So that's the first variable that I'm going to have. So I'll just use 3000. And then I'll come here and run the application. So first of all, I'll create the server instance. So I'll also do some comments so that the code is readable. I'll just say create a server instance like that. And then I'm going to call my server server. That's the name of the app. And then this is going to now initialize our application to listen to our port. So that's what I'm going to do quick. This needs port to be passed as so we need to pass the port as a variable here, I mean as a dependency. Then we also need the function or a callback function. So this port, I haven't initialized this variable, so just initialize it by assigning the variable that we have in the .env, this one here. So this is going to be const port is the same as process dot env, then dot port like that. So in this function or callback function, I just want to log that our application is now running at port at the port specified. So I'll just pass a backtick here and say that server is running at of course it's going to be HTTP then localhost, then we pass the port. We want to assign this variable here because we have used the backticks, then we shall be able just to pass our port variable there in that, then save it. So the way I'm serving my application is development environment. I'm using this, so I'll just run the npm command, which is npm run dev. You can see that application is running at localhost 3000. So if I open this in the browser, you see that the string within our controller is the one that is being served there. So this. So the next step is to now connect the ngrok so that we have a free, static, and also secure domain. That is crucial for you to connect to the Google API or authenticate with Google. Let me just take you quickly to my ngrok and show you that I have a free domain. So when you sign up for an ngrok account, you'll be given a chance or a privilege to create one domain for free. So if you're doing it for the first time, you'll come here and click new domain and you'll be assigned this domain here. A domain that is similar to this but unique to your account. So I don't want to go through the whole process coding, the whole process step by step, but I'll just pass my code. But I have a video, as I promised, that I have explained everything, how to set this up step by step. And even there is setup and installation here, and you can see that Node.js is mentioned. So what I'm going to do is just configure this within my server. So after making sure that our application is running, we can comfortably connect the ngrok. So I'll just copy the code and paste it here and then explain what is happening. Let me just remove this function. So when the server is on and this event, it has emitted this event listening. This is when we want to connect our ngrok. So I'm just going to copy the code and paste it there to save on time, because our mission is to work on the Google or a Gmail webhook part. So just a second. So I have the code here, and we need to import the ngrok package from ngrok. So I will paste it here, then save it. So what is happening that after this event has been emitted by our Node.js application, we want to start the ngrok tunnel, which is going to forward our URL that has been provided by ngrok to this localhost path. So I need to call this function now here, which is start ngrok tunnel, like that, then save it. After that, we also have a section where when we close the application, even the tunnel is going to be shut down and the server will be shut down. Now, right now, everything is failing because we need to actually pass the authentication or the ngrok credentials. So I'll do that. I think I have it in the document, in my notes. So I'll just copy that and paste it there. So don't worry about this. I'm going to reset it after recording the video. So I'm not just careless with my credentials. So once I reset it, then everything is going to be okay. So I'll rerun the app because I have modified the environment variables. And you can see that our application is up, and the tunnel is established at this spot, at this domain. Even if I visit it, which is going to be the root domain, you'll find that the root route is serving the data in the controller function. So I'll go ahead and just close ngrok, and I'll also close this because we don't need it for now. So the next part is start creating the authentication routes for the Google authentication. So we need to authenticate with Google, and we shall be using the Google console. So I have an account here, which is a Gmail account. So I'll just open the browser that manages that. And inside this browser, I'm going to search for console.google.com, and it's going to take me to my Google console account. So if you don't have this, you have to sign up. You visit this, and you'll be able to use your Gmail account that is active in your browser to set up the Google console account. So after setting up the Google console account, you need to create a project. I have an existing project here, but I don't want to use it. So I'll just create a new one. And I'll give it a name. I'll just call it webhook connection. Like that. And then I'll save. So web connection is now my active project. It's being created here. It's done. After that, I click on the search bar and search for credentials, which is this one here. I need to make sure that I've selected the webhook connection project. So you can see that I don't have any credentials here. There are several types of credentials. We have the API keys, we have the auth20 client IDs, and we have the service accounts. So the one that we are going to use is the auth20 client ID. So I'll just click on create credentials, and I'll select auth client. So it's gonna take a second to do that. So it's asking us to create an auth client, and it's telling us what the auth client does. So just a minute. So click on credentials, create credentials, and first of all, we need to configure the consent screen. So just click on that. And click on get started. For the application name, you can just give it any name. You can even use the same name that you've used for the project. So I'll just call it webhook. Let me call it webhook consent. Like that. The email is my Gmail account. Then I'll click on next. Audience external, and I'll click on next. Email addresses, I'll just use the Gmail that I'm using now. So aduku hosting at gmail.com. Then I'll click on next. I'll agree and continue, then finish. The auth consent is created. The next thing I'll do is just click on the data access section here. and under the data access, I'll need to create the scopes. Click on add scopes, and for now I just want you to select everything. It will be easier for you. I know some scopes here are not necessary, but we are interested in a Gmail scopes. Then after selecting everything, I'll update, and you'll see that your scopes will appear here. And then the other part that you're supposed to configure is the audience. So other audience, you need to add your Gmail account as the test user. So I'll add a local hosting at gmail.com, like that. Then I'll click on save, then save again, and your user is added as the test user. Then after that, I'll go back and search for credentials again and click on these credentials. This time around, we shall be able to create our auth client ID. So the application type is web application, and the name, you can just leave it a web client one. Then the add authorized redirect URLs, we shall come back to this later. So for now, let's just create it because we shall be able to do the editing. So after doing this, you'll be provided with the client ID and the client secret, and you'll need these credentials to authenticate your API. Right now, I'm also just careless with my credentials because I know after recording the video, I'm going to delete these credentials. So there's no security concerns at all. So what I want to do right now is just go to my .env and store my credentials. I'll just write a comment to show that these are Google credentials. So the first one is the Google client ID. The other one is the client secret. Then the other one is the redirect URL. Then later, when we sign up, we are going to get a refresh token and access token. So just paste this here. So I'll go to the app and get the client ID, then come back to the environment variable. Just paste it there. Then I'll also get the client secret and paste it there. After doing that, I can comfortably just click OK. And you see that our credential is listed here. So the next part is the redirect URL. We haven't created that. So the redirect URL simply means that when you authenticate to Google, Google needs to send you the authentication token. So you have to specify the URL where Google is going to send that authentication token. So of course it's going to be our domain, and I'll just call it auth. So I'll create a route for authentication, and I'll call it a callback because it stands for callback URL. So I'll copy this and add in the application. So I'll click on this, which is going to open our credential that we created. And then under authorized redirect URLs, I'm going to add that URL like that, and I'm going to save. So after saving this, the next thing is going to be now creating my routes within the app. Right now I don't need this. I'll just remove it. It was for testing purposes. So I'm going to have a get request here, and this one is going to be the route slash that is going to allow us to authenticate our application. So I'm going to call it auth. Of course, I need to start with a forward slash. Then I'll call this the Google auth. So here I'll now pass our function, which I'll create in a separate file. I'll name it maybe controllers. So I'll also have another get request, which is going to be representing now this redirect URL. So this auth callback. So let me just copy it. So this is also a get request. So the next thing I want to do is just to create a folder here so that I'll store my controllers there, or handlers. So the first handler is going to help us authenticate with Google. So I'll call it Google auth. .ts. The other one is going to handle the callback. So I'll just call it Google callback. .ts. So let's start with the Google auth. So for the Google auth, I'll just take you to the documentation within the npm. So if I type npm here, search for Google APIs, APIs like that. It's actually this first one. No, that second one. It's actively being maintained. You can see it was published 10 days ago, an update. So you have time to read through all this documentation. You can go through it. But the section that I'm interested in is actually this section here, which allows us to generate an authentication URL. Whereby we are supposed to pass the scopes, we are supposed to pass the credentials that we've listed within our environment variables, and everything is being explained here. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll just open the auth.ts. So first of all, I'm going to import all the necessary packages at the top here. So the first one is Google from the Google APIs, and of course I've already installed that, and I'm also going to import these types from Express. Then of course I'm going to import the .env from .env. Then I'll initialize the .env so that we are able to use the environment variables. So if you look at the docs, the next thing is to get the auth client variable where we pass this new google.auth.auth to. So let's do that. Of course, I have this listed in the .env as I showed earlier. Then after doing that, the next step is take our auth2 that set credentials, and we shall pass the refresh token so that when we do the first authentication, of course, it's going to expire. So the refresh token is going to help us to refresh without going through the authentication from scratch. Then after doing that, we shall create a function which is now our handler or our controller. So our controller is going to take the scopes related to Gmail. The first one is the gmail.read only. The other one is the auth. It's known as the pub sub. So this is going to subscribe. Subscribe our Google events to our account so that we are able to get the webhooks. Then google.modify, when maybe we receive an email, we need to set that email to maybe read already so that we don't repeat, fetching or working on the same email that we have already processed. So after doing that, we are going to now call this handler or controller within our app.ts, which is this section here, so that we are able to authenticate to Google. Of course, you have to import it like that. So when you visit this route, it's going to take you to the Google page, and it's going to authenticate your Gmail account. But now it needs to return data back to your application. So that is where the callback comes in. So for the callback, I also have a code here. I'll just copy it and paste it here because I don't want to type everything manually. It's going to take us a lot of time. So the same process, we need first to configure this. Of course, you can see that we can actually take this and put it in one file or one function and just call it from a central place, because this is exactly the same as what I have here. But just for testing, let's do it the hard way. So what happens is that we should be able to get the code from this request, and this code, we take the request.query.code. It means Google is going to make a GET request to this URL that I have passed here, the callback URL, and it's going to send our data once we have successfully authorized or authenticated our account. So it's going to send the credentials, that is the authentication token, and also the refresh token. So if you go to the callback handler, I have this token here, the structured. So I'm going to await for auth2 client.get token, and we pass the code. And then what I've done is just to log the token, access token. I'm just going to log it in the console, so we should be able to see it down here. So because I have updated my environment variable, I'm going to kill the app or the server and restart it so that the variables will be accessible. Then after that, I'll just go back to the app and call that handler, which is callback, the Google callback, this one here. So let me copy that and paste it here and make sure that I import it at the top, then save it. Then after saving that, I'll need to visit my URL in the browser. So I'll come here, paste that, and I make sure that I actually pass the auth and the client. You can see when you do that, it quickly takes you to the Google, redirects you to the Google authentication URL, and it lists the emails that you have. And the one that I'm using is this Aluku hosting, so I'll click on that. And then I'll click on continue. I'll select everything and click on continue again. And you can see that Google auth successful and token saved. That is just what I have in my callback URL, this one here. But I'm also logging this. So if you scroll down in the terminal, you can see that I have the access token logged there, and I also have the refresh token logged. So what I'm going to do is to copy the refresh token, go back to my environment variable and add it there. It's very long. Yeah, I just want to make sure that it's same line. Then I'll also take note of the access token, because what I've saved here is the refresh token. We shall need this access token in authenticating our application. The subscription that we are going to create, we are going to permit it or give it permissions to getting the data and sending it to the application. So the next thing you're supposed to do is to go to the console. Of course, within this, in the search bar, just search for pub and then sub, stroke sub. It's this one. So search results, click on the pub sub. So you click on the topics, then create a topic. Topic ID is just the name that you want to give it. Give it a name like we can call it webhook topic. Then after that, click on create. It's saying that must start with the letter. Okay, something is wrong. ID must start with the letter and contain the following characters, numbers, dashes. So we don't need a space here. We can just put a hyphen, then create. There's also documentation. The documentation that we need is known as the push notification. So I'll just type Gmail push notification, and then select this first one, and you have the whole process here. First of all, we need to create the pub-sub. That is a prerequisite. We have already done that. So you create a topic. After creating a topic, you need to create a subscription. So I'll go ahead and do that. So I'll click on my topic that has already been created. You can see this is the topic's name, which is also the same as the topic ID. So it's very important to take note of this. So I'll just copy this maybe and save it inside my environment variable. I'll call it topic name, like that, and paste it there. Then I'll come back to the docs. Next thing is to create the subscription. Click on the topic, and inside this topic, just a minute. So I need to go back, and I'll just click on okay, when you create the topic, a subscription is already created for you. So when you click on webhook topic, you see that there is a subscription listed here. So what I want us to do is continue with the docs. So after creating the subscription, you need to do some editing to this subscription. First of all, you need to decide whether it is a pull or a push kind of subscription. So ours is going to be a push kind of subscription. So I'll click on edit. First of all, I'll click on subscription, then I'll click on the edit subscription, then I'll choose push. Then I don't want my subscription to expire, but you can state if you want it to expire. Then after that, I'll update. So the endpoint now is the webhook URL that you'll be sending your subscriptions to, or you'll be sending your emails to whenever an email is received within your Gmail account. So you need to create that. So I'll go ahead and do that within the app. I'll probably just have a comment here that says maybe webhook. Like that. This one is going to be a post request, so app.post, because it needs to be securely posted there. I'll just call it webhook, simple as that, and I'll be passing my handler or controller on this other side. So for now, it means that I'll just use my domain, which is this one here, copy that, then paste it in the endpoint URL and slash webhook, like that. And then I should be able to save that now. So I'll update it. So it's updating. So after updating the subscription, I'll go back to the topics, then just mark this. And if you go back to the docs, there's something that you need to grant. So grant publish rights on your topic. So to grant the public rights on your topic, you need to give this, pass these privileges. So I'll copy that privilege, and the privilege is supposed to be the publish privilege. So you give the publish privilege to this URL or this email that you have been provided with here. So that is what I'm going to do exactly. So I've selected that. Then I'll come to add principal, and my principal is going to be the URL that I've copied. Then I'll come to the role, scroll and get this publish pub sub. Then within the pub sub, it is pub sub publisher, like that. So I'll select that and save. So after saving that, I'll go back to the documentation. We need to actually test if this is going to send a request. So I need to do the watching here. So if I click on that, it's going to take me to more documentation here. So what I'm going to do is just go back, and I'll make a post request to this URL. But of course, you need to authenticate with your application. So what I'm going to do is to use Postman so that I'll be able to make the post request. Before I do that, this is going to send some request to my webhook URL, and I need to be able to get that information to confirm that that information is actually available. So I'll just go ahead and create another controller. I'll call it Google Webhook. So let's create that Google Webhook .ts. So for the Google Webhook, it's just going to be a normal a controller or handler. I'll just check my notes here so that we don't spend a lot of time trying to type everything from scratch. I'll just import my types here from Express. Then I'll also create a function here. Of course, I'll export this function because we need to pass it in the route. So export constant. Let me just paste Google Webhook there. and this is going to be a synchronous function because we are going to make a lot of requests. Then I'll pass my request. So the request, I'll pass its type, which is a request, then a response. I'll pass the type, which is response, and then right now I'll just probably log some data here that says that Google webhook received from the request.body or a null or true. Okay, let's do this, but I'll need to use the try catch because I'll need to catch the errors. So I'll put this within the try catch, and if I have the errors, I'll just try to catch those errors. So let me copy that code quick and just return the 5,000. So I'll need to now give this function to the route here. Of course, I need to import it. That's why you see a lot of errors down there. Let's wait for it to restart. So that is fixed. I have to use my access token to be able to authorize my application now to subscribe to the PubSub. So I'm going to create a post request here. Then I need some authorization, so I'll choose bearer token, and then I'm just going to copy my authentication token there. After that, for the body, I'll use what we have in the documentation, so I'll need to use this. I'll just copy that. So I actually tested that and discovered that so it's going to be raw, which is JSON. I discovered that the only thing that we need is these two. So I have to put these in quotes. Then I'll get my project name from the .env. I managed to save it here. So I'll paste my project name here. I'll replace it like that. And after doing that, I just want to make sure that my function is returning the data that I want. In fact, it already started doing that. I think it's sending from those other things that I had done already. But what ought to be done here was that after doing this, I'll just go to Postman and send a request. So we need to pass the URL that is provided in the docs here. So I'll copy that and send to watch. See if this is going to be authorized. So Gmail API has not been used in the project before. Okay. All right. I know what that is. So you also need to activate the Gmail API. So just type for Gmail API within your console and select this Gmail in the search results. Then enable the API. Let's give it a second to do that for us. Yeah, I think the API is enabled. You can see here. So if I go back to Postman and make the request, you see that we have this 200, and you can see that we have an history ID here, and there is an expiration here. So the reason why we have a lot of this stuff being logged in my console is because I had used this same account for testing in another project. So that project is sending those webhook events in my application. And if I open the poster, I mean the ngrok, you'll see that sorry, there are a lot of requests that are going to my domain. So let me just click on login and click on domains. So if I click on this and view traffic, just a minute, you see a lot of traffic with the errors going there because now I don't have the correct handling. So I'll just proceed and continue doing the configuration. So after authorizing the subscription, pops up to subscribe to our Gmail account and be getting the real-time data. The next thing we need to do is now to just restart the application for now. I'll just kill it and run it again. Then I'll go to the webhooks and continue doing the configuration. Just to differentiate from what I had used yesterday, I can call this today. And we should be able to see webhook received today in the console. So just give it a second to spin up the server again. You can see that webhook received today is continuously being sent because I know there's a lot of maybe emails or Gmails within my Gmail account that have not been read on already. So let me open this and check my Gmail account. So I only have like 2. I mean, if I go to the spam folder, I have this, so I'll just mark it as not spam. Then updates, any email that is sent to your Gmail account, whether it's a spam, it's an update, it's a social, they're all going to be sent to your application as a it's going to be sent to your application as a webhook. Now let me get back to this and we continue doing the coding. So the data that you're receiving here is being encrypted, and we need to decrypt that to using the base 64. So after getting our data through this JSON .string file, this, so we have our data, we actually need to put that in a variable, and I'll probably just call this message. So message is going to be a request.body.message, and then if you log on to this message, you'll find that a message has a property known as data, which is here. So you can see we are getting message, then under message we have data, we have message ID, we have the publish name and publish time. So if we have this message.data, we need just to console log something. But if it's not there, we also notify or send is the 400 to show that there's no message data in the request. And then after that, we do the buffer so that we get the real data. So I'll just pass this constant here. And from the buffer, we convert this buffer to a JSON object. And then right now, if I stop logging this and I log something else, sorry, let me just comment out this. So let me log the notification, and you'll find that we are now going to get a lot of relatable information. So if we log the notification, realize that we are going to be getting like the email address and also the ID, the history ID. You can see that these events are continuously being sent to our application. Yeah. Then after that, because when an email is sent to your Gmail account, it's going to send the previous ID, and it's going to send the current ID. So within those two IDs is where our message is going to lie. So we need to get that message, and it's a very long kind of code. So what I've done is that I'm going to temporarily create a JSON object that is going to represent like a simple database to track the IDs that we keep receiving from Gmail. So I'm going to create a database folder. I'll just call it database, and this is going to just contain a JSON object or a JSON file, which is going to track the history. So I don't even need to create the file. We're just going to have a code that is going to be writing to this file and also getting data from that file. So it will automatically create the file if the file is not available. So I have prepared that code, and I'm going to copy it and just paste it down here. So I have two functions here. The first one is going to read the history IDs from database, then history.json, and the other one is going to write to it in case like we don't have these IDs listed. So it is breaking because there are some packages that we've imported from our Node.js, and I'm just going to copy those and paste here. So we have the fs and the path. So after doing that, we shall go ahead and first of all pass these two variables. One of it is to get the email address, because you can see email address is listed and the history is listed. So email address is going to be notification.email address, then the new history ID is going to be the notification.thehistory ID. Then after doing that, we shall need to get the history data. So of course the history data is just going to call the function that reads the history IDs from this file. So I'll pass that code there for the history data. Then we need to get the start history ID, which is going to be the history data. I'll pass the email address because we are getting the history based on the email address that we have passed here. So the email address is at the top. I've just shown you how to get that. Then after getting the history information, I'll just create a code base that is now going to create a function that is going to process our email, because right now we don't have the real email data. I have also prepared the code for that. That function is going to take the start history, the new history, the email address, and the write history as variables. So the write history is a function. So I'll just create another folder and call it services within the SRC. Then within the services, I'll create a function or a file and just call it Gmail services, so that we are able to like that.ts. Just copy my code and paste here. Now, I think I copied the wrong code. Don't worry, because I'm going to list this all in the GitHub. So I'll push everything to GitHub so that you'll be able to get the code and analyze it in details. So I've also written the comments here to show you what each part of the code is supposed to do. And then I'll come to the webhook and of course import that. That's why you see that it has an error there. And everything is imported. So we just wait for it to restart. So you see the history.json has already been created, and it's keeping track of every new history that is sent to your application. So it's updating all that. We can now test by sending an email to our Gmail account. So I have a Proton account. So I'll just open my Proton and I'll sign in. And inside this Proton, I'm going to send an email to my Gmail. And we shall watch this section and see if we are able to get any data. So you can even see that it's actually processing my previous emails here. Like there was an email for PayPal. I made some tests on PayPal. There's another email here from TrueHost. So you get where the email is coming from. Let me just expand this. And we also have like the snippet. The snippet represents the body of the email. And after the email has been sent to the webhook, it is going to be marked as read. You see here, it's marked as read. All this is in the code base. Then after that, it's loading in a lot of variables there. So let's send an email from Proton. I'll just come here and send to alukuhosting@gmail.com. Then subject, I'll just call it test webhook. And then I'll say this is an email from Proton. Then I'll send it. So it's sent. I'll just wait here and see if it's going to be shown. Maybe it's going to go to the spam folder. It's not yet. There's a new email here. Test webhook. this is an email from Proton. So if I go to the console, you should be able to see that indicated test webhook is being indicated here. And you can see that it's saying that this is an email from Proton. After doing that, it's going to mark it as red down here. So that is my simple implementation, and you just use the code base to try to dig into it to understand how I have handled the email processing, because that part is very long and I didn't want to spend a lot of time trying to explain that, but at least I've shown you the whole process, how you set everything up, so you can make your code as robust as possible, so that you can even handle your emails. I mean, keep track of your emails in the database, so that you also keep deleting them, because right now it's going to be fetching everything. Like, it's going to be fetching all the emails within your inbox. But what I have done is that inside my webhook, in the Gmail services, I have created a cron job here that is supposed to be clearing that list after like every 1 hour. It's going to clear the list and just be importing a fresh start. And I'll also be checking the size of message IDs if it gets maybe to 1,000. That is if you decide to store everything here. Yeah. So that is it for this video. Thank you for taking your time to watch the video. See you in the next one.